By 1933, Hitler's become Chancellor of Germany, and he's suspended the country's constitution. His Enabling Act has given him the ability to circumvent democracy and do anything he wants. Among the first things he chooses to address are the threats to his power, both inside and outside his party. The biggest internal threat is Ernst Röhm. Röhm is one of the earliest Nazi Party members and a close friend of Hitler. He is also the founder and leader of the SA Brownshirts, the party's army of thugs whose bully boy tactics have been so significant in Hitler's rise.
There was a real bid for power from within the Nazi Party, from the Brownshirts. They, with some justification, had seen themselves as the battering ram that had opened the gates of power for the Nazis.
By 1934, the SA are 4.5 million strong and massively outnumber the German army. The team around Hitler become increasingly concerned that Röhm will use them to seize power for himself.
Röhm starts to make speeches calling for the SA to become a people's army. And this makes the German army very nervous indeed.
And Röhm has committed another crime. Germany is still an intensely conservative country. And Röhm is a homosexual. In secret, Hermann Göring, now Prussian Minister of the Interior, and Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS, ask Himmler's deputy, Reinhard Heydrich, to assemble a dossier to discredit Röhm.
By the end of June 1934, amazingly, the evidence that Röhm is a traitor has been found. There's this documentation that shows he's the recipient of millions of marks from the French government to try and overthrow Hitler on their behalf. Of course, it's completely manufactured evidence.
Armed with the information from Göring, Heydrich and Himmler, Hitler organizes a deadly trap. He orders all the SA leaders to attend a meeting in the pretty holiday town of Bad Wiessee in the far south of Germany. In the early hours, Hitler, some of his entourage, and a couple of state police arrive at a lakeside hotel in the town.
About 6:30 in the morning, Hitler charges into the hotel, brandishing a pistol.
In a scene which would astonish the German people, who believed they were voting for a respectable politician, the Chancellor of Germany can't resist taking matters into his own hands. In a sign of his fury over Röhm's supposed treachery, Hitler personally leads the team to arrest him. He doesn't even wait for his backup, the SS, to arrive.
He makes his way to Röhm's room, opens the door and says, "Get up, Ernst, you're under arrest for high treason." Asleep, dazzled and bewildered, Röhm doesn't understand what's going on.
Now, in the next door room, there's another senior SA man, and with the SA man in bed is a young SA man. And, of course, this is deemed to be flagrant and sign of how degraded the SA had become and how corrupt it had become.
Over the next 24 hours, 200 other senior SA officers are rounded up. Many are shot. Others, including Röhm, are sent to Munich's Stadelheim prison. But it isn't just the internal opponents Hitler deals with. He and Goebbels have been compiling a list of political opponents and old enemies they also consider to be traitors. Now they trigger the next purge. A code-worded phone call from Goebbels to Goering sets in motion what will become one of the most notorious events in the history of the Nazis. The following day, Hitler hosts a tea party in the garden of the Chancellery in Berlin for his cabinet and their families.
While this tea party is going on, the playing out of The Night of the Long Knives is almost pure Godfather 2. It is like a gangster film. There are people being massacred. I mean, literally just butchered, shot, killed, and beheaded.
Amongst those killed are Gustav von Kahr, one of the triumvirate who had sabotaged the beer hall putsch in 1923.
He was hauled out of his home, taken to a forest in Dachau outside Munich where the concentration camp was, and battered to death with axes. The former Chancellor, General von Schleicher, who was shot down in his own home when he answers the door, and his wife, who tries to throw herself across in front of the bullets. She's cut down by a hail of bullets too. A music critic called Willy Schmidt was mistaken for an SA man called Willy Schmidt and was shot down in Munich. There were lots of cases like this.
During that afternoon, Hitler gives the order to kill Ernst Röhm. He's shot dead by the SS in his cell.
At one point during this tea, someone's meant to have come in and just gently informed him that everything had been carried out, and he just nods.
It was Hitler's settling of accounts, the Night of Long Knives, with the right and with the left. And it was serving notice on the world that Germany was now ruled by gangsters.
The Night of the Long Knives is announced by Hitler himself in a speech to the government on the 13th of July, 1934. Official records state that only 77 have died, but really, it's 400. And Hitler now justifies what he has done.
In this hour, I was responsible for the fate of the German people, and thereby I became the supreme judge of the German people. I gave the order to shoot the ringleaders and their treason.
Hitler's actions and words hammer home that he is now judge and jury, with the power to decide who lives and who dies.
The Night of Long Knives gave a notice not only to Germany, but to the world that you oppose the Nazis the slightest whim at the very peril of your own life. If they were prepared to cut down those who'd once been nearest and dearest to them, they were prepared to cut down anyone.
2 weeks later, the 87-year-old President Hindenburg passes away. Hitler abolishes the presidency and declares himself supreme leader of Germany. The Führer.